We've already started. This is it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tirzah Williams here from the Spirit Church. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Feeling good. I'm excited to be here. My first podcast ever.
Is it ever?
Ever.
You like listening to them, though?
I love podcasts. Well, watching podcasts. I'm not really listening to audio.
So you won't like listen to it while you're working out?
No. Sometimes. It depends.
So what are some of the programs you like to watch?
So my favorite one is probably Tim Ross's The Basement.
Yeah. What's he talking about?
He just kind of talks about Christianity, different things going on within like the community in general, and then relating it to Christianity. So like all that kind of stuff. I like it because he's super like transparent about everything. I mean, you could be talking about Jesus one second, porn the next.
Quite the jump.
Yeah, that's literally what it feels like. A lot of cold cuts, but it's super good. So that's probably my favorite. And then I know how I feel about Kev on Stage.
Yeah,
I love pretty much all of his programs. So here's the thing: Marriage is Hard. They just launched a book, so they've had a podcast for that.
And so you're not married though, young kid, not married.
No.
So Marriage is Hard though. So why is that interesting to you?
I think I like it because it makes me... I want to set my expectations for when I do get married in the right way, just to see what I should look for, what I should not, all those kinds of things. So they just kind of address all that. And it's just interesting to me. I'm not married, but I watch like Married at First Sight, The Bachelor. Like,
those shows. Stuff. So what is it about those shows that gets you going?
I don't know. I think the drama. I kind of like the drama a little bit.
Like That's My Boy, and like they'll get mad at the other girls and stuff. Yeah,
like it's like 6 of you guys. Like, why are you upset? I'm confused. But no, it's just so good. And then Married at First Sight. I mean, I always feel like...
Is this on Netflix? Where is this?
No, Married at First Sight is Lifetime.
Okay, Lifetime. Okay, that's the women's channel.
Yes.
So Married at First Sight. So explain the premise of the show to me.
So the premise is all these random people have to go through this huge, like, what is it called? Where you kind of take this test to see like your character traits and what you're looking for in a mate. So they do like a super in-depth process of that. And there's 3 like counselors. There's Pastor Cal, I think Dr. Viviana.
There's a pastor involved in this?
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
Pastor Cal, yes. Now, I don't know if he's a real pastor with like a congregation and everything, but he's up in there. But they take this huge extensive test, and then whoever those people like match with, they put them together, and their first time meeting is at their wedding, like, when they have to say their vows.
So it's like a arranged marriage.
Yes.
On TV.
Yes.
And that's exciting for you.
Yes, because it's like sometimes, how a person can get in their own way of what they really need. So I feel like people like that probably do pretty good on the show. Interesting.
So, like, what do they show them afterwards? Like, they show them at their house and they move in together?
So
or
they're
what
like
happens?
married, and they move in so they do a honeymoon for a week, and then for 6 weeks they are living together, working, coming home to each other, like all of that stuff. So what ends up happening is like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, I'm after this person, I love them on the honeymoon, and then when they come back, it's like, I hate this person. Like, what's really going on? I don't even know you. I love you. I hate you. And like all those things. So not a whole lot of people make it out.
So if you're not trying to grow through the podcast, this is the kind of stuff that really gets you. So would you, I think we've talked about this a little bit off air. So would you go for something like this?
I would do it if people I know are the ones picking my person.
Yeah.
So I would trust my parents. My sister would definitely have to be involved, and my younger sister Cheyenne. I don't want Lazzy.
So let's walk through Married at First Sight, starring Tirzah Williams, and now you got to go talk to Dr. Cal. Now, what are you telling Dr. Cal?
What I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Definitely someone who's attractive. Can't be with somebody who's attractive. That is very important.
I think that's what the Lord says in Hebrews 11.
Yes, of course, Christian is on top of attractiveness, but it has to be right next to each other.
Okay.
After that, I feel like someone who's really caring, who cares for other people outside of themselves.
Okay, that's good.
That's a really big one for me. And then, what's another one? Family oriented.
Okay.
So they're close with either like their parents or like their cousins. So family oriented.
Yeah. And so, all right. So you've done the personality assessment with all the pastor and the host and everybody. So now they brought on Sanea, your sister, or who did you say you wanted involved?
Sanea.
Yeah. So what's Sanea going to be looking for you? I think.
Oh my God. Sanea would probably be Christian, attractive.
Same thing you're looking for.
Yeah, so we have pretty similar, different tastes, but she knows me, so I feel like she would look for Christian, attractive. I'm trying to think of what she would look for that I would not look for. Come back to me with that.
Okay. So, but why do you think she would be a good person to...
Because she knows me. I feel like my sister, my whole life, like we're 2 years apart. So it's like certain things she can put words to that I can't.
Well, you're 2 years apart from your brother, too, your younger brother. But would you trust him? What do you think?
Yeah. I would trust Labs, but Labs would probably just think the whole process is funny. So,
And so, okay, so all right, Sanaya and your parents, everybody has helped picked out the guy. Now you're walking.
This feels kind of real.
Yeah. Oh no, you're.
I'm getting hurt. I'm like, oh god, this could actually happen one day. I don't know.
Well, I think you'd be a prime candidate to get selected for the show. For one, you're ready to do it. For two, you have quite the family to be involved in such a show.
Ooh-wee.
And Lifetime is just they're probably not a lot of people signing up for Married at First Sight.
I feel like so many people do.
Yeah.
I think so. I think everybody, number one, probably wants to be on TV. That's probably the number one draw. But I feel like everybody wants to get married, but they don't really know the ins and outs of it for real. I actually want to be married.
So tell me, so you get married to this stranger. so now they follow you around to your house. Like, where do you guys go pick out a house together? What happens?
So they put you in like a neutral space. So each person like moves from their apartment or their house, and they have to move into like this apartment complex that all the couples stay in.
Oh, so you're in with everybody else.
Yes, but it's like you can't, you know, with TV, like you can't go telling everybody that like you're married and married at first sight and all that kind of stuff. So it's really like those people become your community of who you confide in. And
you're like this lady I just met is driving me crazy. And he's like, that's so crazy because the lady I just met is driving me crazy.
Literally, it is the craziest stuff on earth. But it's amazing because some people actually end up being married. So.
Yeah. So, but your parents, a pastor's kid, you know, you would trust them to help you find the right person, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Why is that? Just because they're strong Christians, or do they have?
I think they're strong Christians, but they're also very like in touch with the natural.
Yeah.
They're definitely. They just know, I think, would be good for me. I know my mom would keep the attractive piece in there.
You keep saying that.
I think it's very important. Because I don't know, in church culture, I feel like a lot of the time people are like, oh, well, that's going to be your wife. And it's like, I'm not really.
Well, I tell you, in the arranged marriage world, you don't often hear about the attractiveness of the other spouse being at the highlight of the number one reason.
I feel like that should be right up under Christian and love Jesus attractiveness. And then the rest of it.
We're bringing Christian arranged marriages back, y'all.
Yeah, I think it should be a thing.
Married at the Spirit Church. I can't wait.
Right, we really could do that. I think it'd be fun. I mean, just test it out for a week or so.
Yeah.
If you want to get on out.
We'll put the link in the description.
Right. Literally. Shoot, that'd be the first one.
Amen. So PK's daughter. Question. So you've been around the church for a long time now. Seeing your parents in this, do you remember a time where you were not a PK? Do you remember what church life was like before you were like invested in it?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I have a lot of memories from just being a regular church congregant.
Yeah, so much different, right?
So great. So nice. Yeah, we used to go to a really big church back in the day in St. Louis. And I loved it. Just being a part of like the kids ministry, just being normal. I'm a football player's daughter. So it's like you've always had eyes on you, but not necessarily the eyes of like what's on you being a preacher's kid, So I've always.
Did you notice that as a kid?
Yeah. But I always was the kid who liked attention. Oh. I enjoy like the being in front of the camera and the lights and all that kind of stuff. I liked it. So I don't think it was a big deal for me. Now my other siblings may feel a little bit different.
So church life, it was just normal?
Just normal. I mean, we were at church Sundays, on Tuesdays, and then sometimes teen church. Well, not really teen church. In my head, it was teen church, but I was literally in elementary school. They would have like special events like on Fridays and like on holidays.
So you were at church all the time, even when church was like before you were PK. It sounded like you were still doing PK activities.
All up in church all the time. So it's like it was just normal. It was just one day my dad was the pastor. That's the only thing that really switched.
So it was just normal for you to be at church all the time.
That was our life. I loved it.
You did? Why?
I just love the people, the community. And it's also, I think, because it became more so kind of like a family to me, because my family is from Louisiana. So we only get to really get to see them on like holidays and stuff like that. So it just felt like community and family to me.
But you're a young kid, though. I mean, I can't say that 10-year-old Johnny Simmons knew a lot about what community meant and all that. You know?
I feel like I knew that I felt loved. I mean, I knew that my grandparents aren't here and visiting me. I feel like I just always felt like loved and always having fun when I was there. So I loved it. Yeah.
Was that how Jesus came into your life then? What is in that season you're just going all the time, or did it come later?
I feel like Jesus was in my life then. Well, actually, my first like ever encounter with Jesus was like prophesying that my dad would one day have a church. And I was super duper young. I probably might have been like 10, 9, between 8 and 10,
okay.
Like that window. So when I experienced like hearing the voice of God for myself and outside of like, you know, someone else giving you a prophecy or something like that, I knew something was different. Now, have I had my times where I just venture right on off? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like at that moment was when I knew like, okay, this is something.
So you at 8 or 10 years old were able to hear God's voice, to prophesy to your parents that they were going to start a church. The church is still going 15 years later. Yeah. But you're saying that that's like your first experience with Jesus. Why do you say it like that?
Because I feel like it was the first time that it wasn't like I was raising my hand to get. I used to raise my hand to get saved.
Did you?
Every single Sunday, just so I could go in the back, get the little booklet and a piece of candy.
Come on, somebody.
So it's like, you know, that was my first experience where like I'm hearing him for myself, and it's not because like I want a candy, you know, stuff kids are thinking about.
Dude, so. I remember the days when they used to call people up, and the kids would go. They used to, at my old Baptist church, there used to be now can you picture this? Maybe you've seen some. Maybe you haven't.
Oh Lord.
So they would do the normal worship, right? But then they would bring all the kids up, and they would do like a mini children's message. Like they'd be like, "All right, send all the kids up." So all the kids
during like the actual service.
Yes. So you would go and you would sit you would send your kids up. They would sit on the platform while the pastor, the kids minister, whoever it is, did like a 3 or 4 or 5 minute little mini message to just the kids while all the parents are watching, and then they would send the kids off to go play.
That's weird.
And then the pastor would come up and the pastor would do his normal message. You've never seen anything like this?
No. We were always like sent away like in not Kingdom Kids, that's what we're called at church, but like we were always in children's church. We were never in the regular service.
It was just like the transition from worship to the message. The kids were allowed in there. Like I don't know if it was.
Were you in there during worship?
Yeah, you were in there during worship. Yeah, all the kids. You like from the start of service until that little mini kids message was over. The kids were in.
And you just go play, and there's like
they would ship them off into the other room or whatever, and then they would go play there.
Wow.
And so when I was a kid, you would do that, and it was like so much fun because they would hand out candy and stuff like that. But I just remember
so interesting. I've never. Was it a smaller church?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It wasn't small. It was just like a little storefront, and maybe there was 20 people. But it was a big building. There was probably 100 or 200 people, in service. But and there was probably 20 or 30 kids on the platform.
And you were standing the whole time?
No, you would sit down. Like the kids would sit Indian style on the like I'm telling you, of all the church things that I've seen, all the weirdness, all the laying of hands, all the falling out, all that stuff, all that stuff, and you're like, what's going on? Maybe the strangest thing is we sent the kids up to do kids church while all the adults watched. Why are we watching?
I'm wondering what's going through the adults' head. Like, what's going on here?
I'll tell you what. Like when I got older, what was going through my head was like, this was a nice break. It was like it makes the service shorter. Like it's like nice. You can sort of just zone out for a minute. You don't have to feel like you're.
Can you like be on your phone and stuff?
Well, back then we didn't have phones. So it was like
looking around.
And this was the entertainment. I mean, the kids. I feel like the parents loved it. I feel like the parents were like, oh, and they just laughed all the time.
They like the kids.
Yeah, it's like the kids part.
But what if it's someone who doesn't have kids?
I don't know. I guess it's like if you go to like a kids thing at like the school or something, and they're doing a little play, and they spin around in circles and they fall or whatever. Like I feel like anybody still gets to laugh about that.
After like one time.
Yeah, but every Sunday, call the kids up. Call the kids up.
How do you think your kids would do if like that was the way?
Well, I mean, if it's anything like I've seen, like there's some kids that do good and some kids that do bad. Some kids that are like get up and they spin around and and they make noise and like and
so does the parent get up and be like, no, sit down.
There's a lot of like Baptist discipline, like No, honey. Like it's like direct discipline from the leader of the children's ministry. You know, she's like, no, Daniel, you need to sit down right now. We're in the middle of this, and meanwhile, everybody's watching.
What the heck? Oh no, that would not have flown with me. Mm-mm.
They weren't doing that at St. Louis Christian Center.
I did not.
From the very beginning.
Yes.
So you're a kid, and you don't get to experience the wonderfulness that I did, but you're experiencing God. You get a prophecy word, and so from that moment on, did you feel like you just had a deeper relationship, or how did you develop that?
I don't know if it was a deeper relationship. I just felt like I feel like everybody has that moment, or prayerfully, I pray that everybody does have a moment where they feel like they hear God, because I feel like that changes your vantage point. You know, like,
did you know you were hearing from God?
I knew something was different. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I can remember we were sitting at the table, we're eating Taco Bell.
Ooh, a Taco Bell prophecy.
Yes, we were eating Taco Bell. And like, I used to get headaches as a kid. So I had this throbbing headache, and I'm like eating or whatever. And then I think I told my dad the prophecy, and then like my headache just went away right after that. And I was just like, okay, that's a little different. I just went on about my regular life.
Yeah, that stuff I wouldn't even notice as a kid. Like, my headache's gone away. I just gave a word to my dad. What was their reaction to this little prophecy?
But my dad had gotten prophecies before that he was going to be starting a church. So I believe that I was like the second or the third person he had heard it from. But I feel like probably when you hear it from a kid who's like 8, that's probably hits a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So
when it started coming to pass, and you start seeing them, you know, they start. Where did you start? You started the church in your house, right?
Yeah, in the basement.
In the basement, just you and your siblings and
All
your
the siblings. I think Miss Perry came like the next week, but yeah.
So your dad takes a step of faith. Were you guys excited about it? Were you, like, do you remember anything about how you felt?
I was excited that we got to get like donuts if people came, you know.
If people came, you get donuts.
Yeah.
No one comes, nothing.
No, we still got to eat the donuts regardless. If, like, nah, John, you know I ain't letting them take me away from snacks.
Them
now.
donuts ain't sliding off my table.
Do this work for an hour. I'm finna eat this little donut. So,
you gotta earn them amens. You
know, but pay me in donuts. But we definitely look forward to like that part. I remember it being fun. I do remember being like kind of confused.
Why?
Because the church that we went to, it's like, I thought I was going to be a member of that church pretty much my whole life. I thought, oh, like, this is where I'm going to meet my husband. Like, maybe not meet my husband, but just like, I just thought I was going to spend my whole life there. And I remember being kind of sad and confused because it's like, okay, are we going to do this for a while and then we're going to go back? Do I get to still see like my friends and like people I considered family? Will I be able to see them? So I remember like wondering like, okay, this was nice, but can you take me back now?
Yeah.
You know, I remember kind of feeling like
Did you think it would fall apart, or like?
I didn't think it would fall apart.
You were just hoping for it to?
Yeah.
Or like,
No, I wasn't.
Like, you're ready to go back to the other church?
On the church's downfall. No, I was not doing that. I definitely wanted us to be successful. But no, I didn't want it to end, especially when people, like a small amount of people started coming.
Yeah.
And then when my parents' close friends came and brought their kids, and I was like, okay, we'll just hang out with them. So we ended up getting like super duper close with them. So
yeah,
really nice.
You mentioned that you were from Louisiana. Yeah, but Dad's playing pro ball, and you guys are moving around town. So you end up in St. Louis, but he retires, and he's going to start this church. Do you remember any conversation with you? Like being like, does it have to be in St. Louis, or was that like, or did you want to go back, or was this feel like home, or what?
There was one moment, it's like you know when you're a kid, you have like certain memories of certain things, but like nothing else that comes with it. Yeah. So I remember, I guess my dad was in the process of entering, is it called the portal or something?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that a Christian thing?
No, the portal of like, if you're in the NFL and you are wanting to get traded or something of that sort, I think you enter into something.
Oh, that's not a term I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
when you say portal, I'm like a fire portal, like a heaven portal, like
no.
Jacob's ladder.
This is a football reference. At least I think it's the portal. It could be something completely different. I don't follow sports. Like that. But I remember a time where they were like contemplating either going to the Chicago Bears I remember that being a conversation. Or I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, something in Jacksonville. But I remember that being a conversation or being brought up somehow. But that's it.
But that's while he was playing football. I'm talking about like...
This was like actually when he became a free agent or something like that. Yeah.
Did you want to stay in St. Louis? Did you feel like...
I don't think I was thinking that deep.
Yeah.
I liked my little life, my little Christmases, my going to my little school. Like, I don't think I was thinking in terms of that.
You went to a Christian school, right?
No. So at first we were at a Montessori school. And then, this is an interesting story too. So we were at a Montessori school, all the way from like kindergarten, pre-K, all that kind of stuff. And then I told my mom, like, I want to go to a Christian school. Like, we should be going to a Christian school.
Yeah, Jesus.
Literally,
right.
that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you, Mom, you're
right.
backslid.
I'm the mother. You're the child. My mentality back then. But so my mom started, because I said that, she started looking at Christian schools, and we found an amazing Christian school in Clayton. Loved it there. So we ended up leaving Montessori school and going to
So
school.
Why did you like Christian school so much?
I don't know. It's literally like one day I was like, I think we should go to a Christian school. Like, that's it. I don't remember any thought process or anything.
Right, but now I'm talking about when you got in it. What was it about that?
I liked it because the kids were really nice, and we had to like memorize scripture and books of the Bible and all that kind of stuff there.
I love kids are always telling me how much they love it.
Yeah.
My kids, I got 4 kids. 2 of them are in Christian school right now. They just come home all the time, Tears, and they're always like, I just love memorizing scripture. Said no one ever.
I did not. I'm saying in my mindset now, I think it's really nice. I hated it then.
Oh yeah, okay,
I'm like,
makes sense.
why are we memorizing this? Like, I don't get it. But then, like, you had to recite to the teacher, like, the scripture and all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like now my grown person mind being like, wow, like, that's actually pretty good because you're getting the word into kids.
Well, you appreciate it now.
Yeah.
You're growing in age and wisdom and stature, and so you're able to, in some ways, a lot of ways, look at you. You've gone through a path where you went from sort of standing behind your dad on the pulpit, him being the PK or whatever, and now you've grown into, a person who works on staff, and you're doing things that are probably not exactly what you thought you'd get into. No. Did you?
No, I never thought. I didn't think that I was going to be the one kind of hanging out in St. Louis and being at the church. Like, I did not think that.
So, like, in school, in high school and stuff, like, what were any thoughts that you had towards your future?
I didn't really have a whole lot of thoughts towards my future. I was very right now focused. Was not thinking about that until literally, I'm a procrastinator too, so probably not very good. But I was not thinking about college or anything like that until my college counselor was like, so we're going to be filling out college applications today. And I'm like, great. Yeah, this is amazing. Didn't even think about any of the schools I wanted to go to. Ended up applying to Tennessee State, Mizzou, and the University of Missouri, Kansas City, because, that's where other people were applying to. And then TSU's and HBCU. My parents come from HBCUs. My sister went to an HBCU. So I was like, okay, I want to check out this experience. I kind of thought I would just go to college and then fall into what I was supposed to do.
Like so many Americans, we just think, you just sign up.
It's all a lie.
Is it? Why?
Because I just feel like you need, in order for you to, like, I feel like when you go to college, you need to have a general idea of, like, what area you want to go into.
Even though you didn't.
Yes, I didn't. Because it's just like the natural path that you follow. And even though my parents would have supported whatever I chose to do, that just felt like the natural progression. Like, nobody in school is like, hey, like, maybe you guys should go to community college for a couple years or just work like in the regular world for a second and just take a pause. Like, nobody is encouraging anybody to do that in high school, to me.
Yeah, and your parents probably said something like that to you, I imagine, though.
Yeah. Not really. They were really open to what we wanted to do. They just wanted us to be clear. Like, if I say, okay, I want to stay at home and work. Okay, you want to work where? You're working towards what? Like, you need to have a plan. We're not just going to sit here and do nothing.
So, but your plan was like, I'm going to college. And they're like, okay, great.
Because I wanted to get away from being at home, being up under my parents, and experience freedom.
How did that go for you?
Crash and burn.
Did it really? It was crash and burn.
Yes. I definitely went up there And at
So
first,
where'd you end up going?
I went to Tennessee State.
Okay.
So I went to Tennessee State. I got there, and I was like scared out of my mind.
Really?
I was so scared. I went through like, this is crazy looking back on it, but I went through like 5 months of pretty much depression. Didn't really leave my room, lost a lot of weight. I went to a couple parties like freshman week, and then after that I just kind of went to class, went to my room, hung out with a friend, went back to my room. Like, it was really weird. A lot of anxiety at that point.
And so what caused that, do you think?
I don't really, even looking back at it, I don't really know. I know it was a major shift of environment for me, for sure, because I had come from a predominantly, white high school. I had a couple of like black friends, but that's what I was used to. So now being in an environment that's like all African American is it can be a culture shock, and I think it was for me.
So you try to dabble your feet in the parties and stuff. Are you making friends, or like any real friends, or is it just like superficial stuff? Or
I had a couple of superficial friends that last for the first month or so, and they kind of fall off. But I met like 2 girls that I'm still pretty close to this day.
Yeah, and so even those friendships weren't enough to sort of keep you from putting yourself in isolation, or it sounds like you were sort of...
Yeah, I was isolating, I think, because I had also just lost my Grammy at the time in 2017, literally a couple months before I went off to college. So
it sounds like
rough.
You weren't focused on your future at that point.
No, not at all. Not future.
So crash and burn. So where's the burn part come?
It was, I wouldn't say it's like a burn. I feel like I was just lost, like not knowing what I want to do.
Yeah.
Switching majors.
What did you start as?
I started as communications, and then I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do within communications, because communications is so broad. You can do so many different things. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, let me switch over to human resources, which is a business major.
Sure.
Hated that, because in order to get to even the HR classes, like, you got to do economics and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, not into that. So I feel like I was just kind of all over the place, just trying to get through.
And so you get through to how long did you just...
I stayed at TSU for 2 years, and then it was like after I had stayed for a summer semester my sophomore year, and I was like, I'm not really, don't plan on coming back here.
Yeah. What was your relationship with God like in that season?
I would go to church. I would pray every now and then, but I wasn't super in depth at that point. No. And I think that's also a part of like why I was so sad and kind of lost, and because I was just doing stuff that was completely different than what I had ever known. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like a lost season.
Not lost. I think when
figuring it out season.
Yeah, I think like I look back at my life now, and first off, the older I get, and this is crazy to me because the older I get, I still feel young. I still feel like I'm the 20-year-old guy who's got the world ahead of him, and then I'm like, wait a second, no, that 20 years has gone by. Now I'm almost 40.
It never goes away.
Yeah, the feeling of like being young, I'm youthful. I can still, like, I hear them saying like all the pro sports players are done by the time they're 35. I was like, I feel like I could like, I
can make it out there.
And so, but then I look back at like my life and it goes by so fast. But you're like, the seasons of growth that really happened are the seasons like you're talking about. It's like, I don't want to call them wasteful, but it's definitely there. You learn, you have life experiences that add to who you are today.
Yeah.
And I think for you, that sounds like sort of what it was. So you come back home, and then what happened?
So I ended up going to Webster University, where I got a scholarship for the first time. And that was another thing. When I was at my other school, like, that was the first time I had ever really focused in on grades. I was like a 4.0 student while I was there. So
I had a girl.
Yes, finally, after years and years of struggle, finally that private school education paying off.
Kicking
Thanks,
in.
Mom and Dad. But no, so I came to Webster, and I started in their communications program, which I loved. I almost wish I would have went there all 4 years, because the professors are super hands-on. You can get involved in like radio, and then like PR stuff, like public relations stuff, marketing stuff. Like, you can kind of dibble and dabble in any way you want to go.
Yeah, and so you appreciated sort of the flexibility of what you were learning. What was it that you were drawn to the most out of those things?
I feel like at that point, I was just trying to graduate as quick as possible. So I was like, look, plug me into
I like doing it.
media
But so you went from communications to HR, you went back to communications.
Yes.
So what were you hoping to accomplish when you got out of school?
I had no idea. I was hoping to get on with like a company in St. Louis that does like I think it's called like an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
Internship, like that. An internship, something like that. But it's like it's a different title than an internship because you're graduated.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like
probably paid too.
So you do about 6 months with a company, and then you can kind of like they'll decide we want to keep you on. Most of the time, they keep you on, and then you continue on climbing the corporate ladder.
What happened?
I was like, I don't want to do this, but I want the money from it.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, because we got a big girl job. We got to get out.
Yes, like I want to leave my parents' home. I want to have my own apartment. I want to travel. You know, all these different things. I'm like, no, I need some money to do that. So I was like, okay, like let me try this. And so that summer, when I was like kind of deciding what I wanted to do, I ended up asking our executive pastor at the time, like, hey, like I can come in and volunteer sometime to do some administrative stuff for you while I'm trying to figure out like what's going to be my next move. So I ended up getting into that. I ended up just trying so many different things. The ministry was at such a pivotal moment at that point because there were a lot of transitions happening. So I ended up coming in the door and helping in different administrative areas. And I ended up loving like the church culture and being around church people. And because I always liked a lot of I didn't share this before, but I had done some internships at just nonprofits before I had gotten to. I like the idea of nonprofits and working towards something that's bigger than you. Yeah, I like that. I like to feel like I'm working for something to get better in the world, not just a product that you're trying to push or something like that. Like I want to be benefiting.
It's more than a job.
Yes, I needed that and I liked that. So I was like, okay. But then I was like, okay, I don't really like sitting at a desk or like any of this, just the traditional job kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, like let me do the church thing for like a year and see what happens. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. I like being, especially like working with you and like all the different people at church. Like, I love it.
Yeah, but you're working at your parents' church, so I mean, it's a different, you know, for somebody like me. Like I found the church, I wanted to be a part of the church, and as a member first, you know, I became a volunteer and then later was hired on a staff. But like, you talk about the church as if you like didn't have any connection to it when you got hired, but you're a little connected.
Yeah, I am. I was definitely connected. I mean, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was never. Let me tell you this. It was never forced. Like, my parents were never like, one of y'all got to come back and help with the church. Like, yeah, this got to carry on. Like, nobody was saying that at all.
We need a volunteer.
No, like, no one was saying that. And that's very typical, especially from other preachers' kids. Like, okay, go do what you want to do in the world. But about 10 years now, you need to come on right back. And that's not how my parents were. They were very much so, like, go explore the world, do what you want to do. And so for me to ask, like, I want to help in whatever way I can, that is like it was not a part of the Williams family plan.
Were they excited, or did they not show their cards to in back rooms? They're probably like, yeah,
I'm very sure, like, thank God my daughter is not out here in the world. Yeah, she's at church. I'm sure that definitely played a part, but they never really expressed it to me. I mean, I know that they are happy that I'm there. Yeah, but I also think that they want to make sure that like this is my decision and I don't feel pressure from them, unspoken pressure or anything like that. But I've definitely learned that I love being there. There's no other place, well, at least right now, that I would rather be. So I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being on the team because you're willing to learn and listen. That's always good when someone, you know, is in a new position and they're trying to, you know, they're not just closed off, because I can be that way sometimes, and I am, and a lot of times. Forgive me, Lord, forgive me, everybody. It's just like I feel like I got everything figured out sometimes, you know, and that can be difficult. But you're not like that. You're very like open. Yeah, right.
Do not leave me out here by myself. Like it's and I love how it's a collaborative environment. We all kind of get to put our hands in different things because, you know, we're a very small staff as we're a growing church, but yeah.
One of the things that I find about the life that you've been able to live is a little different in terms of PKs, right? So you've had a life outside of being a PK in terms of your dad being sort of a celebrity of sorts and being able to do things that aren't necessarily able to do by normal pastors or futures trying to be pastors. You know, like they go to seminary, they never left the state. You know, your dad's been everywhere and seen everything. But from your perspective, I'm curious because you see local churches, and you've been to several local churches here in St. Louis, but you've also had the opportunity to see so many other churches in other parts of the cities, in big cities and parts of the states that I've never been to and things like that. Big churches, little churches, you've seen quite a few. So what have you seen out there?
What have I seen? I've seen quite a lot. I feel that the biggest thing I can say, how can I put this? I feel like going out and seeing other churches makes me realize that, like, I want us all to be able to work together more to win people for Christ.
Yeah.
Where we're not so focused in on, like, what's going on at this church. Like, just working more to be collaborative.
Yeah.
Not competition.
So you've had the opportunity to just bring everybody to speed. You've been to like Elevation and Gateway. You've been to like all the big churches across the country. You've been able to not just go to them and watch service, but you've been able to be behind the scenes. You've been able to meet people. You've been able to hear, ministry leaders and things sort of pour into your dad. Yeah. And you've just sort of been there vicariously, next to him. And sometimes, since you've been here at the church, you've been able to do some of that as yourself, right? But I'm just trying to see, like, when I'm expecting revival to take place in St. Louis. That's what I want to see happen, And so when I look at our church, and I want our church to be part of it, and but it may not be a local church that has anything to do with it. It might, in terms of like, there might be some big event that causes revival to start. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I want to see having seen all those big churches or all the places that are really touching lives for Christ on a daily, weekly, fruitful, tangible way. What are they doing like this the same that we can sort of like look to in our church?
To be honest, I feel like every church does it differently. There's something special about different churches out there that they're able to touch people in a different way that we can't. I think that each ministry is called to do something different. Each pastor is going to be able to connect with someone different that my dad may not be able to connect to. So I think that's the way that I kind of look at it. Am I answering the question?
Sure.
And so it's not that like there's a specific way that we all should be trying to win people for Christ, but I just look at it as let's all of us do our part.
What's some of your favorite things that you've seen in some of those other big churches that you've seen in person that's really like inspired you or encouraged you in some way?
My favorite thing is, can I name the church?
Sure.
Okay, Transformation Church.
Call them out.
I got the pleasure to go and visit for a week. And so to be around there, be in that environment, to be around the staff there, some of their volunteers, the unity, the authenticity, the transparency, everything you can name in one place. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, so those are just like vague terms. So what does that look like?
They are all like, I've never seen, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like everyone's on one accord, like super excited as to like where the ministry's going, what's my part in that. And I also feel that one thing I've learned, because I've seen a lot of churches, is that you're able to differentiate the real from like religion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so there it felt like those people have a genuine relationship with God, which means that everything they touch will be better. Not saying nobody's perfect, everybody falls, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But you can definitely see that God is the center here. Not a whole lot of other agendas, but this is the center there specifically.
Yeah.
So to be able to see that, and so many of them are like 23, 20.
Young people.
Yes. On fire for God. Like I haven't really seen that, at least with my age group.
Yeah, it's hard to see churches that have a thriving like young adults ministry.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it worship? Was it some like how do they draw them in? Because I mean, you can get good worship at a lot of churches.
Yeah.
I guess it's not just that.
I don't even think it's just the worship. I think that because they have older people on staff there too, but something that I've learned is like sometimes our more seasoned saints can feel that we know everything. Like that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We know it. But there it's collaborative. Like, let's take what you know and let's also add like the flavor of like what's going on in the culture and the pulse of the culture, and let's add it together. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I think that's the way that I look at it. I don't know.
Transformation Church is in Oklahoma, right?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, yeah.
Yeah, and so you gonna move out to Oklahoma? Like, what
I don't think so. I'm not planning on it. I just love following the church, like listening to their sermons from Pastor Michael Todd as well as Pastor Charles Metcalf. They're so good.
It's crazy to me. You can think about like we're in St. Louis, and so like I've always lived in St. Louis, so like my viewpoint of it is obviously tainted in some way. Like, I love the city, and you can't tell me otherwise, blah blah. When I hear like Oklahoma City, even though we're
like, what is it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's the same thing that Californians and New Yorkers think about St. Louis.
Like, what is
that flyover state? What are they? Who's over there?
Who knows that?
And
so the Hot in Here guy who sings raps that song.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's all we got is the Arch and Nelly or whatever, you know.
Pretty much it.
And so like I think like what's God moving in Oklahoma City? But I think he can move anywhere, and I'm excited for him to do in St. Louis.
And that's another thing, like thinking about like what you see of them on like social media and YouTube and all these different spaces, and when you get to Oklahoma, like there's nothing. Like nothing.
Just like we were talking about.
Yes, like I thought St. Louis is nothing, but them is like very dry.
They got church.
Pretty much that's it. Like, I was shocked. I thought it was going to be like kind of like a mini St. Louis. That's literally what I thought, but it wasn't. So.
Yeah, it was just more rural.
Yes, like rural. I mean, they have like developed places. Like, I think any place that has a Target is pretty.
Well, I mean, you can have a Target.
You know, they've got a Target, a couple of Targets, a super Target.
You a Target shopper or Walmart?
I'm a Target.
I tried teaching this to my kids the other day. They're like, I was like, we got to go to Target, and Maya is like, what is Target? I was like, it's the fancy way to say Target. Yeah, it is. So what's about Target that's your thing?
I love Target. I go in there probably once a week. Horrible. I need to stop.
So what like are you the type like on the memes like just following her, like I'm just walking around? I don't really have
literally like I will go and be like, I just need to go get some candy or something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go get candy, or I'll go grab like a water bottle or something like that. Like, that's all I need.
For fun.
I go in there and I go right through the doors. I'm like, let's just see what kind of clothes they have. Let's see what they've got going on in the clothes section. And then I like go over there and I'm like, oh, I like some of this stuff. So just pick up one item. Then I'm like, oh, they've got workout stuff too. Let me just go check it out.
You have to go get the cart, or do you already?
No, I don't let myself get a cart. No, I'm like, if you can carry it, then all right now, but you is not going to get
all right now, child.
Literally. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry it.
That's a good mom move in the future. Right. Just don't bring the cart.
No, I'm not getting a cart. We're not piling it in. If you can carry it, you can get it. So literally, I'll go in there. I'll go to the workout section. Then I'll be like, do I need something for my car? I'll go to the car section. Be like, oh my gosh, like I need a bedspread, don't I?
I love it.
Right, we definitely do. Go to the bedspread section, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go check out their hair products. See if they have like, I gotta see if I need like a toothbrush or something. Like, let's go browse those areas, and then right across from that area is Ulta, because now they have an Ulta.
What's an Ulta? So that's makeup. Not my thing. Ulta is makeup.
Yes. So now they've started to put like small Ultas and small Sephoras into different
Sephora's,
places.
I guess, makeup
Sephora,
as well.
A mini Sephora will be in Kohl's, and a mini Ulta is now in some Targets.
Now, why are they combining stores? Like, didn't Target already?
The smartest thing of life.
Didn't Target already have makeup?
They did.
Okay.
But they did not have Ulta stuff. This is why
there's a different kind of blush. It's that big a deal.
You cannot just do like a regular blush. Now, some stuff I'm like, look, I'm gonna go over to this Target, the Target brand, and be all right. But some stuff you got to pay a little bit more for, so it can look right and stay on your face.
Speaking of paying mofo, the idea that Target is it's like. Look,
bougie.
It is sort of bougie, and here's why. Because when I was gambling, you had to spend like all my money I spent, it had to be like conserved. Like if I wasn't using that money to gamble with, I feel like it was a waste. So if I had to pay my rent or a water bill, it hurt my feelings. Like my money needed to be used for gambling. And so, especially if it came to like, I have to buy socks. Like, ew, I don't want socks. I like, can I just not wear socks? Like I would like literally have that thought. I would have a thought. I'd be like, you know what? I'm never going to buy socks again. Who cares? I'd go shoeless if I could. And so when it came time to do that stuff, it was like Walmart, you know, especially because Amazon wasn't around when I was gambling, you know.
Amazon too.
Yeah, and so I'd go to Walmart and I'd get my little pair of socks, you know, for $1 or whatever, you know. I would not be worried about the brand. I was like, which one's the cheapest one on this shelf?
This is Hanes.
And that's what I have. Yeah, whatever that is. And so when I started, you know, when I got bored again and you know, being a steward of my money became different. And I remember me and Megan making the jump up. All right, we're going to Target now. And I remember Tirzah. Now you've experienced this your whole life because you love Target so much. But for me, being a forever Walmart shopper, when I was like, there's not a cart in every aisle. You can like spread out. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Clear.
There's only like 8 people in this store. What's going
around
on?
in these red shirts, and if you ask them to help you, they will actually help you.
I was like, literally where I live, the Target and the Walmart are across the street from each other, and I was like, this is another part of the universe. When you cross this street, you come into the Golden Road or something.
It's so beautiful. It is the best experience. It's like the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, my place.
Superstores to me.
Yeah, have you been to the Super Target?
I have not.
Yeah, so on my we've gone on a couple of trips. You know, me and Megan are trying to visit all 50 states, and so in our journeys, we've come across. And I remember the first time, and I was like, "What on earth is a Super Target?" Megan, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "That sign says Super Target," and I was just like, what's a Super Target? I don't even know. We don't even know. I was like, we're bougie now.
Go?
Oh yeah, we stopped immediately. We said whatever we were going to do, stopped. We were like, all right. So the kids are excited to go.
I've got something to add to my what I want in my list of my mate.
Yeah,
he has to appreciate Target.
Oh, there you go.
It out there right now. If Target is not right next to Christianity Attractiveness Target, then we're not.
And it's got to work out.
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
If you can't allow me to have my 5-hour trips, and you don't want to be with me,
you got to go.
Gots to go. So Super Target. You walk up, and on the outside, other than the word super, you're like, I don't know, I think I'm about to walk into Target. But you walk in, and it's like, you know how like when you go to Costco or something, you know, it's just like 2 football fields, right, of stuff. And I don't even know what they got. It's just like the groceries, like an actual grocery store. You know, it's like every aisle, there's like 10 aisles for stuff. You know, instead of having 1 aisle for something, you're having, you know, 2 or 3 aisles for, you know, your toys or whatever, you know. So it's like, it was just bigger. It was just like on crack, you know. It's like I
have to go. I mean, you probably wouldn't know, but was there an Ulta in there?
Sister,
you would not know.
Sister, don't ask.
No, you would not know.
I barely knew.
Darn.
I didn't even know what an Ulta was. I wouldn't have.
Darn.
Is that the one that's the black and white checkers?
No, that's Sephora.
I've seen Sephora.
Yes.
Now Megan is not a big makeup purchaser. She's not like, hey, I need to go get the fanciest thing. No, she can go get it. I don't care what she does. But you know, so I also have not had to start buying this for my 2 little girls yet. Eventually they're going to be like,
just wait.
Maya is already, she wants makeup. She's asked for makeup the last like 3 times.
What age are you like, okay?
I don't know. I have no idea. I will cross that bridge when I get to it because
that bridge might be tomorrow.
Well, she's already got some, and I tell you, she tries to put it on like she's like, because my kids are supposed to ask for permission before they do something to their body, right? You got to ask permission before something happens to your body, right? Now, falling down and getting a bruise, obviously not the same thing.
Yes, you are drawing on something.
Now, Maisie has not gotten this memo. Oh, because just yesterday, I mean, she comes in and she had found a highlighter, and she tried to highlight every pimple on her face because that's what it was like. She just went up and down her arms, her clothes. It was on she had done all over the church computer. She had highlighted everything.
She had a great time.
She was having the world's best, you know. But Maya, she puts on her makeup and she's so proud, and she'll be like, I gotta get the camera. She'll be like, you notice anything? Do you notice anything? And first off, you notice her from space before she gets to you because she's got like 7 layers of makeup on, more glitter than I've ever seen. And I'm like, where do we even have this much glitter in this house? It needs to go away.
Gosh. It's amazing.
And so you would encourage her to do this more, you think?
Now, here's my thing. I was going to ask you about this. So, with your girls, do you feel like you will wait later for them to be able to wear makeup because you want them to feel that they're naturally beautiful? Or do you feel like it's just enhancing what you already have? Like, what is your kind of vantage point?
I don't really, this is the first time I'm giving it any thought. So my first thought would be that I think it's fine for them to have makeup as long as they can put it on properly.
Okay.
Because I'm not like beauty is only your skin. Like
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
good.
Like, I mean, I get haircuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference?
So it's the
like,
same. Okay.
yeah, to me, it's the same. It's like you know. Now this thing that Maya did the other day, though, I'm not too happy with, and I may have shared this with you already, but I will share it again. So, Maya. She's my little fashionista, right? So she loves she's a 6 outfit a day type of girl. I don't know if that's all girls or if it's just her or what.
It's our giftings.
Oh, okay, great. And so we're on our way to church, and she's got on a tube top and some short shorts. My daughter is 6 years old, 6, and I go. First off, I don't even know. Did you put on your younger sister's clothes? Like, where did these clothes come from? Like, you don't have a
crop top.
Yeah, we
That's
don't.
what it is.
Like, we didn't go to the slut store yet and get anything. You know, I haven't been to that part of the mall yet.
I brought you to that department.
So I don't know where these clothes came from. And we're like, honey,
day.
we don't wear those to church. You know, we don't wear those to church. And I go put your dress on and go to church. So she goes and she's got she's got a dress and it's from shoulder to kneecap, or not kneecap, to ankles, right? So it covers every inch. I was like, so that's a church dress. Let's go to church now. So anyway, we go to church, drop her off at kids' church. We go to pick her up. Tirzah. She's got the crop top on and the short shorts. And we're like, what is this?
Happening?
She said, oh, I changed after you left.
Maya got the message that I got when I did that. I started doing that in middle school.
What? Doing what?
Like changing on the bus. Like I would
That's
leave
a thing?
in one outfit. Oh, yeah.
You got to hide it from parents.
Yes, like I would wear like sweatbands and hoodie or something. Get on the bus, have my little hot shorts on.
Unreal.
Yes, literally.
What is it about the short shorts that
it was like everybody else is doing it, so it's like, why can't I? Like,
well, who's telling this to my daughter, my 6-year-old?
I'm telling you, it's probably on like on YouTube and stuff.
You think
like
so?
That. I'm telling you, it's all types of stuff in these kids programs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like,
well, my kids don't even have a phone, but they can quote reels at you. So, I mean,
it's so different.
Yeah, it's a different world.
The amount of influence that like they're gonna have to fight through is completely different, even for me, because I didn't really get social media till like middle school, so I couldn't imagine like navigating that and hearing all this different stuff.
You probably can't remember a time where there wasn't social media for you.
I do.
You do?
When I was younger, like elementary school, we didn't have any of that. I mean, the most we had was Leapfrogs, DSi, Game Boys, like that kind of stuff.
So were you watching a lot of TV and stuff? Or?
Oh, no. My parents were like strict on that. We could not watch anything with witchcraft, so...
That was like everything.
Oh, literally.
No Harry Potter for you, huh?
That's so Oh, absolutely not.
You couldn't watch Harry Potter?
Oh, Disney Channel went off during Halloween. We were not watching that. Halloween
You turned that wicked mouse off.
Literally. We were kids and we were watching. Do you know Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah.
We were watching Little House on the Prairie. Do you know the Webster?
Lori Laughlin or whatever. Lori something, right? Lori.
Oh my God.
Little House. So what happened?
So we used to have to watch. We watched that. There was like Bible Man. There were like straight to VHR or VHS tapes, Christian movies that were made in someone's basement.
Oh.
Bible Man. That's what we were watching.
I remember
old shows. Different Strokes. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's not a Christian show. That's at least a normal show.
It didn't have to be Christian. It just had to be like, just not like, we were not exposed to like the regular media stuff for our age.
You're pretty worked up about it. So how do you feel like that was good or bad for you?
My inner child is rising up.
Yeah.
But I just feel like now that I'm older, I understand, and I will definitely probably do the same thing to my kids. But it wasn't out of control where like, if once the TV went off, that's your media. It wasn't on our DSIs or Game Boys or anything like that. Like there's no escaping it now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a completely different level, but I feel like it really made me like not know who I was, but to just be exposed to, I guess, better influences. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it made us better.
Did you sneak some Harry Potter though? Let's talk about that.
No.
You never seen Harry Potter still?
No.
You're like that witch.
I never. Now we did want to watch That's So Raven, but my mom didn't like how she used to start seeing visions and stuff.
And now Raven's got her own
Right.
She's got her own stuff going on.
Yes, right. So it's like my mom did not.
Your
like
mom was
that.
prophet there, I guess.
I guess so. Tell whatever vision she was seeing, y'all not seeing it today. So that's how she was with that. But I appreciate it. I tell you all the time, like I will probably do the exact same stuff to my kids.
Yeah. So your parents were a little stricter than my mom had a rule like you couldn't watch MTV in my house growing up, but we turned it on when she wasn't. We were not good listeners. We were not the greatest Christian household.
No, but I also think it was because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so it's like she never she would go places and come back, but it was never for like long stints of time. Like I didn't really start getting exposed to different stuff until probably like middle school. And so were you drawn to it in any way? Because sometimes they say like if you don't have it, like the Catholic schoolgirl sort of thing, like they want to go make out with boys and do different things because they haven't had a boy at their high school or whatever. I don't really act out in that way. I feel like I would like do some certain things. Like there used to be this show. It might have been VH1 or MTV, and there was some type of show where they're like dating and kissing, like guys
like Married at First Sight.
No, it wasn't Married at First Sight, but it was like some type of dating show or something like that. And I remember feeling like, okay, I'm watching something that's obviously inappropriate, and so I like went and told my parents
that you were watching it.
Yes,
you told on yourself.
That's literally it. I was that kid.
That is some conviction. So why?
I would tell on myself, like, and this is oh my gosh, okay. So when we were younger, like when we were going to sleep, we either had to listen to 99.1, 102.5, or
which are like the Christian stations.
Christian stations, soft rock, like nothing like hip hoppy or whatever. And so I had to, I was going to sleep one night. And this was when I was watching some of this stuff. And so I went to sleep, and in the background is 99.1 or whatever. And it's like this song, I think his name is Brandon Heath. And it was talking about asking the Lord to give you his eyes, like the way that he sees stuff and all that kind of stuff. I guess it spoke to me. So I got up and I'm like, okay, I gotta go tell my parents, gotta see through God's eyes. And I like went and told my parents.
You had to see through God's eyes.
Literally, it's like this one song. I have to find that song. But literally, John, I feel like that's the way that I like get out of stuff now. Like when I'm going through, it's like I need to confide in someone. Like I can't keep that stuff inside because it eats me alive.
Yeah, so you have a heavy conviction, level that I experienced too. And you and me know that it was because we're gifted as perceivers, motivational gifts. For those who maybe don't know what that is, Romans 12. So there's a lot of different like tests and things you can take to sort of discover what kind of motivational gifts you have. And both of us have landed on perceiver, and that's like a black and white way of looking at the world. It's like it's either God's way or no way, and like the conviction level is very heavy. You see a lot of perceivers will like be the type of people like stop drinking or go to hell, like that kind of like
they may drink in the corner a little bit. And be like, I'm gonna die. I want all these people not to do it. That kind of stuff. But yeah,
it comes with this heavy convictions. That's what you're talking about. So you were experiencing that as a young kid.
Young age.
You probably couldn't have put words on it why you were doing it, but God had put that in you, and so today you're still walking in it. You're still not maybe still not watching Harry Potter, but Married at First Sight is still on the
it's definitely still on there, but I definitely have cut out some other things I used to watch.
No judgment here. This is no judgment zone. This is I'm just
I'm I'm Christian, but I'm a cool Christian.
You're the cool
I'm
one.
the cool mom, the cool Christian. I still do everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, still enjoy life.
Is cool Christian? So nowadays, young kids, because I haven't been one in a minute. So, what are young adult Christians like doing nowadays?
I feel like it depends on who it is. I feel like for me.
Is it still like date? Like when I was when I was 30 and I got born again, I was still trying to feel young, but everybody talked about the opposite sex. It was like all they ever talked about. I need a husband. I'm going to get me a wife. And it's like it was everybody was forward thinking as far as getting a relationship going. Is that still the way? I
think that's still definitely a thing. I think for me, I'm learning that things will happen in God's timing, and that when you try to force it outside of there, that's when things just kind of start happening. So I learned that very quickly recently. But but I feel like cool Christians I just feel like it depends on the person. I feel like for me, being a cool Christian, it's like still enjoying life. Like I still listen to like my regular music, and I'm not cutting out certain music and certain TV programs.
Yeah, it's not just 99.1 anymore.
No, like, I definitely, like, I joke all the time, like, if you go through my playlist, like, you will hear some 2 Chainz, some Lil Wayne, but it's going to circle back around to some Maverick City and Kirk Franklin, so that is, like, mixed in there. And I mean, like, I feel like you still have to enjoy life. Yeah. I'm not going to cut out everything because I feel like that's religion based. And I feel like when you actually have a conviction about something, then okay, I'll start to walk that out then. But I'm not going to just go cutting every single thing out of my life and all this kind of stuff. Unless I'm like, if I begin to feel a conviction about it, okay, start looking and leaning into that. But
I feel like for people like you and I who have this sort of like black and white, like heavy conviction level, and especially for you and me, because we're also united in the fact that we work for the church. Yeah. I feel like at least it's like this for me. Like I feel like all the eyes are on me. Like if I mess up, someone's going to be looking at me. Like they know my testimony. They know that, like, you know, and it's like you can't even like turn around and like can't even, you know, fart too loud. Otherwise somebody's going to be, you know.
That spirit church worker. Their pipes backed up, man. Oh, God.
Is it like that? Like you feel like you got to live perfect a little bit?
I had to let that go.
Yeah?
I simply cannot do it anymore. And that's a daily fight to just be like, you want to say something about my life? Well, let's look at your life. Yeah. And everything you've gone through in your 20s and what you walked through. And I had to let go of that already with our gifting. Like at least for me personally, like I have this perfectionist thing where I try to be perfect and all this kind of stuff. And I'm working actively to just let it go. And I'm going to make mistakes. I may stumble, fall, but guess what? We all do. And the minute we all step up and are like, oh, like I'm perfect and all that kind of stuff. Okay, 9 times out of 10, whatever's going on in your life, it's definitely going on for real if you're sitting up here trying to put on a perfect face. Yeah. So I don't care at this point.
Yeah, they say that people will like often like point out the thing that they're struggling with in other people.
And it's so true, especially with my gifting. I'm very quick, like, don't you be doing that. You know you need to stop. But I'm really talking to myself, and I'm like, and I feel like it also helps me come out of some stuff because I'm like, okay, I don't need to be doing this either. If I'm telling this person how bad it is for them, like, okay, what do you think it's doing to you as well? So I think it's a dual purpose for that.
Cheers, you just been awesome to talk to today.
Oh, thanks, Sean. This was so fun.
Yeah, we could do this for hours, but we ought to let people get back to their jobs, whatever they're doing, listening to us.
So fun.
So tell everybody how they can find us at the Spirit Church, since you sort of watch over the social media aspect of it.
You can find us at the Spirit Church STL on Instagram and just the Spirit Church on Facebook. Those are our main social media platforms, or our website, thespiritchurch.org. We have service at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. Wisdom Wednesdays, every Wednesday at the church at
she's doing the full plug.
Yes, I'm a plug it all. But it's at 12 p.m. So if you have a lunch on Wednesdays, you can always pull up, or you can watch us on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live at 12 or 9 a.m. or 11 a.m.
All those things. And so we'll put some links in the description, guys. I want to thank Tirzah for being on the show today, and all of you guys for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, we pray that you discover a future and a hope for your life today.
Yes.